My husband's new female friend messaged him that he could do whatever he wanted to her. So I took a screenshot and blasted her on social media. My husband James does downhill mountain biking. He's been riding since he was 16. Knows every trail in our area. Goes out every morning at 6 with our 3 German shepherds. It's his thing. 6 months ago, he came home earlier than usual. While he was out, he found this girl who dashed hard and broken her wrist. Being James, he helped her. Got her to the parking lot, loaded up the dogs and bikes, drove her to urgent care, waited while they referred her to the hospital, then came home like it was nothing. A week later, one of his riding buddies sent him a screenshot. She posted in multiple Facebook groups trying to find James with the black truck and 3 dogs who saved me. My husband isn't on social media, so he told his friend to give her his number. She texted to confirm it was him. He said, "Yes, glad you're healing, happy to help." She offered money or lunch. She declined. Just said he was happy to help and left it at that. At first, the texts were normal. "Hey, hope you're well." Every few days. Nothing weird. Then she started getting better and could ride again. That's when it changed to, "We should hit the trail sometime." Here's the thing. My husband used to ride competitively. He's fast. Really fast. So are the guys he rides with. This girl was a beginner who just recovered from a broken wrist. There's no way she could keep up, and he knew it. He tried to decline politely. Maybe another time, but she kept pushing. Eventually, he agreed to meet her once. Gave her some tips on her form and technique. That was supposed to be it. Instead, she started texting constantly, asking about gear recommendations, about his training schedule. Could he tutor her? Random stuff about biking. This went on for months. I never once felt concerned. James leaves his phone on the kitchen counter with no passcode. Our 7-year-old daughter plays games on it. The texts sync to our iPad and laptop. He knows this, doesn't care. He's never given me a reason not to trust him. But her, I started noticing things. She always initiated. If he didn't respond, she'd send multiple messages until he did. And she never, not once, acknowledged I existed. When James mentioned, "Can't ride Sunday. It's my wife's birthday." When he mentioned my birthday, she replied with a thumbs up emoji and immediately changed the subject. No, tell her happy birthday. No, hope you guys have fun. Nothing. Just back to asking when he was free. A few weeks later, she started sending selfies. Not explicit ones. Just random photos. At the trailhead. At the gym. In her car. James would respond with things like, "Looks like a good ride today," or "Nice weather." The same way he'd respond to one of his riding buddies. But she kept escalating. One night, while he was in the shower, a message popped up on the iPad. "You know, if you ever wanted to, you could do whatever you wanted to me." I stared at the screen. Read it twice. Then a third time. My stomach dropped. Not because I thought James was cheating. Because I knew exactly what she was trying to do. A minute later, another message arrived. Just saying. James came downstairs wearing sweatpants and toweling off his hair. I turned the iPad around. "Care to explain?" He looked at the message. Then blinked. Then said, "What the hell?" Not guilty. Not nervous. Genuinely confused. He immediately grabbed his phone and typed, "That's inappropriate. I'm married. Don't send me messages like that again." 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally she replied. Wow. It was a joke. James didn't answer. Instead, he blocked her. Right there. I should have left it there. Honestly, I probably would have if she had. But the next day she started posting vague things online. Things like, "Some men pretend to be heroes. Funny how people aren't who they seem. Not all wives know the truth." Just enough to start rumors. People who knew they rode together started connecting dots. Then one of her friends commented, "Tell your side, girl." And she liked it. That's when I got angry. Because now she wasn't just embarrassing herself. She was trying to damage my husband. The man who had spent 6 months being patient with someone he helped out of kindness. So I took screenshots. Every single one. The messages. The selfies. Her invitation. His rejection. Her "you can do whatever you want to me" text. His response. The block. Everything. Then I posted them. Not on my personal page. In the exact same biking groups where she'd originally searched for him. My caption was simple. This is the man who stopped his ride to help an injured stranger. This is how she repaid him. And then I attached the screenshots. The internet did the rest. Within hours, hundreds of comments poured in. Most of them were from women. And none of them were on her side. People pointed out how many times James had politely declined. How she had initiated every conversation. How he'd immediately shut her down. By midnight she'd deleted every post she'd made. By morning her account was gone from several groups. 3 days later I received a message request. It was her. A long paragraph about how she'd been lonely. How she'd misread his kindness. How she never meant for things to get out of control. How I had ruined her reputation. I read the entire thing. Then I sent one sentence back. No, you ruined your reputation when you tried to sleep with a married man and then hinted online that he was the problem. Then I blocked her. That was 2 years ago. James still rides every morning at 6. Still with the 3 German shepherds. Still stops to help people when they're hurt. The only difference is that now, whenever someone recognizes him on the trail and asks if he's the guy from that Facebook drama, he laughs and says, "Yep, that's me." Then he points at his wedding ring and adds, "And trust me, my wife is a lot scarier than any downhill course." A year after everything blew up, I thought the story was finally over. Then one Saturday morning James came home from a ride looking annoyed. Not angry. Annoyed. Which was actually worse. What happened? I asked. He dropped his helmet onto the counter. You'll never guess who I saw. I didn't even have to think. The girl. He pointed at me. The girl. Apparently she'd shown up at a local charity race. The biking community in our area wasn't huge. Most serious riders knew each other, or at least knew of each other. James had hoped she'd see him and stay away. Instead, she walked right over. According to him, she smiled and said, "Can we please be adults about this?" James replied, "I am being an adult. That's why I blocked you." Then he turned around and walked away. I nearly choked laughing when he told me. But it didn't end there. A few weeks later one of James's riding friends called. "Hey man, thought you should know something." The girl had apparently been telling people that the screenshots I'd posted were taken out of context. Out of context. As if there was some hidden meaning behind, "You can do whatever you want to me." Naturally, people asked what context could possibly make that acceptable. She never had an answer. The story died again. For another 6 months. Then karma decided she hadn't suffered enough. One evening James received a message from a completely different number. The sender introduced herself as the girlfriend of a man the trail girl had recently started dating. The woman apologized for contacting him. Then sent screenshots. Dozens of screenshots. The trail girl had been messaging multiple married men in the biking community. Not just James. Several. Using almost identical lines. Almost identical tactics. She'd compliment them. Message constantly. Act helpless. Push boundaries. Then play the victim whenever they rejected her. The girlfriend had discovered everything while investigating her boyfriend's behavior. James looked at the screenshots and just shook his head. She really does this to everybody. The woman eventually exposed the entire situation herself. Unlike our case, there were 4 different men involved. 2 marriages nearly ended. 1 engagement actually did. And suddenly everyone realized the problem had never been the wives. Or the husbands. It had been her. After that, she quietly disappeared from the biking community. No more races. No more group rides. No more social media posts. Nothing. Meanwhile, life kept moving forward for us. Our daughter turned 8. Then 9. The German shepherds got older and grayer. James retired from competitive racing completely and started volunteering as a mentor for younger riders. One afternoon, I asked him something I'd wondered for years. "Did you ever think she was interested in you?" He thought about it. Then shrugged. "Honestly? Not at first." "What changed your mind?" He laughed. "The message where she literally offered herself." "Fair point." Then he wrapped an arm around my shoulders and pulled me close. You know what the funny part is? What? I wasn't even her first choice. I blinked. What? One of his riding buddies had later confessed she'd originally tried the same routine on him. The difference was that he'd recognized the warning signs immediately and never gave her his number. I stared at James. So she settled for you? Apparently. I laughed so hard I cried. Because after all the drama, all the rumors, all the screenshots, and all the chaos, the truth was almost ridiculous. A woman had spent years chasing my husband. And my husband had spent most of that time wondering why she kept asking him questions about bicycle tires. To this day, that's still the part that makes me laugh the hardest.